Whew, man, this is a bizarre situation, really. Rook e3, queen e5, queen f4, knight takes d5. I don't even know what's going on anymore. This looks like a good defense. I mean, it's really annoying that the game is longer than the other guys, but I think the guy, you know, deserves to be able to play out the rest of the game. Rook f4 doesn't look right. I don't see how to win here. Pawn takes pawn. Pawn takes pawn, knight takes. He's on my queen. I mean, that's the whole point. Everything is like pinned and falling with check for me. Rook e3. Rook e3 looks like the most tempting move. But then he has queen to e5. Attacking my d-pawn and attacking my bishop on g5. It's really strange. He's not actually threatening anything right now on this move. The point is, I guess, that next move he will threaten something. So, theoretically, I could play d4 in this position. It's definitely a real move. D4 takes a lot of squares away from black. If I can play d4 and then I'd be like threatening to threaten stuff. But I don't see a concrete move yet. If I play d4, I'm going to play d4. I mean, yeah. It seems kind of odd, but I think just controlling the squares and keeping the pin. It seems like he should. I could consider taking now. If he takes on d4, I take with the queen on d4, and that looks good because it just intensifies the pin for me. Ultimate Champion. I played this guy the other day, and he's got a bullet rating of 1800 based on a lot of games, but very few in the other time controls. I don't know about this. Knight h4 is hanging at the end of what? Oh, there's a line. g3, knight g2, knight takes g4. g3, the knight would have been so good on h2, I know. But there was some reason why I didn't move it to h2 when I moved it to h4. I was sure about that. But it's the normal square is h2, of course. In this kind of position, I wanted to go to h2. But it does look like I have maybe rook takes f4 ideas, but he's always got... The problem is, he's always got this rook takes f4, queen f4, you know, rook f6, knight f6, queen f4, knight takes d5 on my queen. Like, it's always some kind of like counterattack against my pieces, whether it's my rook, my queen. It's very odd. So he's calculating quite a bit, obviously, to play e4 and see that it works. He weakens more squares. Still, there's no way for me to break through. And he's paralyzed, you know? I mean, I'm just trying to keep him paralyzed. He's still paralyzed. But king g7 remains kind of vague threat. How about I can do maybe rook f4 next? He gave up that square. Rook f4, you know, if there's nothing else, I can always play rook f4. Followed by, like, f3. Or other moves, you know. I mean, pawn takes d4. This is the point. I just keep the square. He's paralyzed. I guess rook f4 followed by queen e2, or just get my rook out of take, and I have a lot of ideas I can do. f3, for example. Rook c8. And other possibilities for me exist, like rook g3. What about mating attacks? You know, what if I play rook g3? I take the pressure off of f6. You know, that's the problem. I can't really afford to take the pressure off of f6. I can't give him a moment to break the pin. Now he has maybe b3, but he's just going to start jettisoning pawns. So anyway, he's going to lose on time, looks like. Weird game. Really stubborn defense, but I don't know. I never saw a clear win for me. You just can't break through it. I don't see how to do it. Maybe there was some computer sacrifice. But there's nothing easy. There was no easy win for me, I'm pretty sure. Someone talked about g3. That's a good plan. I like that. Get the knight back in the game. I like the idea of like g3, knight g2. You know, it's kind of tactical looking position, but here now, still I don't think he has any threat. So white can take your, you can take your time as white. g3 looks like a good move, but he's defending f6 again. Having said that, so bishop h6 is interesting. I think bishop h6 just trades pieces, you know? It doesn't do anything. Knight f5 check. Sacking rooks. Queen e2 I was talking about. Queen e2. Trying to pile up on e4. What if I played queen d1? What would he do? Queen d1, threatening rook takes e4. Well, he's going to sack his queen or something for the two rooks there. Yes? How about f3? And he's still got 15-second increments, so he can go on forever here. h6 is the guy's plan, for real. And g3 I can do. So I'll do g3. This move is too slow. It's probably too slow. I just don't feel that black can do anything either. I guess queen d8. It looks dangerous for him. But yeah, this increment thing is too much. I have to win by force. Okay, I don't understand. There, he blundered after all that, really? He really blundered queen f8 after all that. That's crazy. Man, after all that tension, he blundered queen f8? That's unbelievable. Dude, queen d8. I mean, this is kind of the point. I guess it looked hard for him even there, but I think he has queen d8. So, too long. Okay, guys. We're going to play some faster games. Thank you for the match. Sorry for the long game. Putin the Great, 4-5 Blitz. Okay, guys. If you don't know me, I'm International Master William Pascal playing on Sparklehorse on Lichess. You can check out my YouTube videos. All the info is on the stream, under the stream, rather, on Twitch. I'm streaming usually Central European time. Putin the Great, where are you? I'll give you like 20 seconds to show up. So, Putin the Great, I don't know if he's... Yeah, there he is. Alright, guys. Let's play a modern defense. I've been playing a lot of Sicilians. Something a little different. Bishop g7, and I was talking about this in my video I just made on Friday, Mickey Adams versus Bologan. We talked about it already. A modern defense is a great opening for a player trying to win against a weaker player, but it should be like used carefully against stronger players. I mean, you're playing a very hyper-modern defense, kind of like, in terms of hyper-modernism, it's almost as hyper-modern as like the Alekhine's defense or something. Don't do it against a stronger player. I mean, unless that's the only opening you play. If you want an example of what I'm talking about, I played many games with the Grandmaster in the United States, Alexander Ivanov, and he's a tournament pro, and he has a repertoire where he plays a certain thing against top players, another thing against players around his level, and like another thing against weaker players. You know, so it's like you use this hyper-modern type of stuff to beat the weaker players, to try to get a complicated game. So G6, it's a good opening for like trying to win and creating a complicated position, but don't try to do it against stronger players again, unless you don't have anything else that you know how to play. D5. Queen G4. Saryoga is the four-alarm file. I can't say that. That's like a tongue twister. Four-alarm file. I traded light square bishops in the Alapin. I shouldn't have. Saryoga, yeah, I guess you shouldn't. But, you know, it's one of those things that chess is tough because, you know, there's all these different dynamics going on all the time, and you have to constantly weigh different factors. So, yeah, generally speaking, this is what Boris Kryman played against me. I talked about this a week ago in the stream. But when I analyzed with an engine much later, it looked like the knight on d2 really isn't that great. I should try to keep the bishop on the board. Not trade on f3, I guess. But even that, I can't remember. The game was too long ago. It was like a U.S. Masters in maybe like 1998 or 1997. I can't remember. Bishop b5, and this looks like my game with Boris Kryman. Maybe he's Putin the Great, but I think he'd be a little higher than 1500. Bishop b5. Yeah, we just develop. And he has queen a4 type of ideas. But I guess black could even sack a pawn in some of these positions. Maybe e6 is interesting. Actually, now that you mention it, I can play bishop takes f3. I don't have a lot of time here, but I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. Last time I played this position, I was probably white. Against Grandmaster Jozef Horvath in a rapid tournament about 3, 4, or 5 years ago, I played this with white, and I think I played this exact same position. It's just sort of coming back to me now, and I didn't really like it. Because I can play bishop takes f3 at some point, and I think that Joji just played e6 here. But bishop takes f3, you know, he has to take with the queen or else take on c6 with check. Is one idea. He can play queen a4 now. So that's a bit awkward for me. Queen a4, I've got to play like probably queen b6. And h3 is a bad move. You should try to play against my bishop on g4. I'm not really sure how white's supposed to do it though. Here he's dropping a piece. So this is the most commonly dropped piece in the chess openings. When I was playing Blitz for money many years ago, this is the piece that is more commonly dropped by amateurs than any other piece in any other opening. Bishop on b5 in the Sicilian is the big one. So what I was trying to say was he should play queen a4 there. I don't know. If I had more time, I would investigate, but bishop g4, knight on b to d2.